Whoa, hey everyone! Welcome to the fifth quarter fantasy cast. I'm Coach V. Dr. Dry is over there choking on a pass, and we also have Peepaw in the house. No Paps for me and Peepaw tonight, but you're
That's all right.
schmammered.
I'll drink one for you.
The doc loves his Paps. He's hyped up on Blue Ribbon. We're hyped up on week 2 of fantasy football in the books. It's been an interesting week. As you see in the title, injured AF. It's everywhere, it's anywhere. And shows like this are more and more important to you as you try to fill up your lineups and deal with injuries and all that other mess. So, how has y'all's week in fantasy been, Mr. Peepaw?
3-0 thanks to Kyle last night, giving me that win by under 1 point. So gotta love when that happens. Am I right? Other than that, destroyed the other 2 leagues I'm in. So solid so far. Only at 1 loss on the year between the 3 leagues, and so far so good. But the injury bug has bit me a couple times, and it's not very friendly. So um, I've been touting about how deep my bench is with Michael Pittman in one of my leagues that I got an injury in. So we'll hopefully that guy can come through with me this week. I'm pulling for him.
Oh boy. Oh boy. What about you, Doc?
I messed up this week. I went 3-3 thanks to Kyle Fitz, and sometimes you just lose by less than a point. So and yes, we played each other. So good game, Peepaw, and
Yep.
So Kyle Pitts, I hate him so much. We'll get more into it, but he literally cost. I needed 6 whole points, and he only got me 5. So you know. That's it. I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm still getting over that from last night, and I eat this like half-eaten cookie that's in a um that's in a parking lot that I sent a picture to you guys of. I don't have it with me right now. I'll go get it sometime this week. Um, so I knew I said I was gonna eat that, but I'll eat it eventually if it's still there.
Yeah, that's all right. It's just gonna ripen more in the parking lot.
Let it
Maybe have
cook.
more road items attached to it by the time you eat it. So,
Yum.
but yeah, I went 2-0 this week. Had a lot of points. I'm a Camara owner in one league, so benefited from that greatly. I really like being a Camara owner. Dr. Dry knows that I've always wanted him on my team. I never really get him on my team, and
This is
not
the
for the
year.
fantasy. Like it's just he's just a cool looking dude. He just looks cool. It looks like he is involved in cool things, and you just want that guy on your squad. Now I'm a CMC owner in another league, and that's not working out so great. And so, but 2-0, we're happy. Outside of the CMC thing, staying a little uninjured on my end. I have so many guys going off on my bench that it's like, all right, I guess I'm just going to put them in now. Let's just see what happens. Also, I realized that the 2 leagues I'm in have no defenses and no kickers. So I don't pick defenses or kickers at all this year, and I am okay with that. It's fantastic.
I feel attacked on that one.
I'm just, man, it's nice. Like I just realized it this
Good.
weekend. I was like, oh yeah, I'm not having to do that weird stream of defense every week thing, and it feels good. So yeah. But now it's time for awards. So we're gonna start off. Oh yeah, Matt wants to know how I'm feeling about being a JMO owner, and I'm feeling good about that. It's a good feeling to have him on your squad. He didn't have a huge week this week, but I think he's going to be on an upward trend for the rest of the year. So very happy. I know you want a piece of that JMO, Matt, but it may not be coming from me. You have to get it from someone else. So, sorry. But awards time. Our first award is the Hillshire Farms gift basket of disappointment. Who is y'all's Hillshire boys?
I am not an owner of either of these boys, but Olave did decent, not great. I mean, it almost seems like this offense is running through Kamara, Derek Carr, and Rashid Shaheed. Olave's just kind of the side piece. He's like, hey man, how about me? He just wants a little more action. He's getting a little bit. He's out there 71% of the snaps. He got 6 targets, 4 receptions for 81 yards, and had 1 rushing attempt for 7 yards in this game. So a little bit in the action. Wants more action than he's been getting, but still take it. He's was drafted highly, so as far as that's concerned, he is on my Hillshire Farm list this week because of where you drafted him and what his output has been so far this year. The other guy, DJ Moore, I feel real bad for the dude. Every time they pan the camera to him after the ball was targeted his way, it was just like I thought there was going to be fire shooting out his face. He was going to rip his helmet off and just go Hulk smash mode on everything around him. He's pissed off, man. I don't blame him. He was out there almost 100% of the snaps this past game, 10 targets, 6 receptions, 53 yards. He's trying to tell Caleb, help me help you. Like, this is a partnership. We need to work together here. I understand you're getting beat up every single play, but give me the ball a little bit faster. That's all I ask, not much. I feel bad for the dude. All the receivers on this offense, probably the offensive line needs to get their act together, but Chris Olave and DJ Moore are my 2 nominees for the Hillshire Farm Award this week.
He's not on mine, but he should be. Chris Olave. I agree completely. I don't know. You expect more from a second round pick, and you want him to turn that corner and become a late first maybe next year, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But Chris Olave, I think he's soft. Like he's, like some receivers, you're like they're soft. They don't got that dog in them. They're kind of a pussy. They might have that cat in them. So, and he can easily kick my ass. So hopefully he doesn't watch this core fantasy. But Chris Olave, quit being soft. Anyway, but he's I got 3 on mine. I got Sam Laporta Potty. I got Tank Dell, and then I got Jamar Chase. So we'll start with Sam Laporta, tight end 1 last year, and it's just not. I don't know why he's not getting the ball. I don't own him anywhere, but I know. I don't know. I just know it's been pretty disappointing because he all of a sudden has a very high draft capital. Next we have.
Can I get a Dale? Yeah, brother.
Maybe you can get a Dell, yeah. I'm not gonna say no, but I can't put him on that other list. But Tank Dell, get him the damn ball. I'm definitely concerned. And there were 2 sides to this. Like people are like, all right, he's either the wide receiver 1 or the wide receiver 3, nothing in between. And he's kind of fading. Stephon Diggs is always bitching about getting targets and everything, and eventually he gets his, whether it be in the end zone or wherever. Nico Collins is in fact him, and we'll talk more about that. But Tank Dell just kind of falling back. I don't know if it's the injury to the leg or the shot to the leg or what, but I don't know. I hope he gets it together because we love you, Tank. And then Jamar Chase, I think he might be spiraling. I don't know. That was I thought he was gonna punch the rep or something just so he wouldn't have to play. You know how frustrated players, if they have a little hamstring or something, instead of battling through or I'll be fine, all of a sudden it hurts a little bit more. I was worried about Devontae Adams last year doing this, but he wanted to compete. Jamar Chase would rather get paid. Anyway, I don't think he's doing himself any favors. He needs to have a Jamar Chase game. And when he does, I might be tempted to sell him, put him on the trade block or something. He's frustrating to have, especially whenever you draft him so high, easy first round pick. The talent is there. He's just not coming through. So definitely worried about Jamar Chase.
Yeah, the Bengals just don't look right yet. Even though they played better this week, they don't look right. As much as we talk shit about T. Higgins, maybe he is some sort of key to that offense working correctly. Because the whole thing just looks off. Joe Burrow's lighting up his tight ends. It's like, what's going on? So, anyways, I hate to see Jamar Chase on a list like that. A 1A, 1B pick last year, and then this year still a first round pick, dropping so low. I haven't even looked at his wide receiver rank. It can't be very good.
And this is his second week in a row on the Hillshire list. You know what comes next. So
so he's had his yellow light. We're just gonna have to red light him. It's over.
And he gets a little more leadway. Not as much as Tank Dell, but he gets a little more leadway with this. Tank Dell, we can probably put him on here 15 weeks in a row. I don't think I can ever put him on the Get the Bet award, but he needs to get it together.
Jamar is currently the wide receiver 40 in PPR formats.
Ouch.
Pretty good.
Not what we're looking for out of a first round draft pick. And so I just had the one Hillshire. Obviously, you can hand out a ton, but just have Laporta on mine because of the cost. He's the number one drafted tight end this year. People were spending former Travis Kelce draft capital on him. Now Travis Kelce isn't even meeting his lower draft status. And so it's pretty rough out there, but Laporta for sure cost you a ton and not panning out. So next is the famous that's that nasty guy from Harry Potter, isn't it?
That's Arthur Smith.
That's Arthur Smith. That does look a lot like Arthur Smith, to be honest.
Yeah, that's Arthur Smith from Harry Potter.
That's his cameo in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So the Sleep Number Shit the Bet Award. These are going to players that you're not just disappointed, but you're worried about the future, and they are on this list because you might be cutting them. You might be really close to cutting them. You're probably benching them week 3. You're not giving them any more tries on your starting roster. So, peeps, who are your S the B award winners?
I just want y'all to notice Marvin Harrison took notice as a rookie. It's not a fun time in this boat. He was in there for 1 week.
Yeah.
And it was so bad. He's like, man, I gotta get out of here. Can't be. So he's like, I'm gonna go balls to the wall. I'm gonna go balls to the wall this week. I'm gonna ball out and not be in here anymore. So he doesn't plan on being in this category anymore this year. But my nominees this week were Travis Kelce. Not sure what's going on with that this year. He's still on the field a ton for the offensive snaps. Targeted only 3 times, 1 reception this past week. It's kind of jury's out as far as what's going to happen with Pacheco now on IR. If the passing games now can get accelerated, they seem to be focusing more on the rush with Pacheco, but without him there, what's going to happen? Maybe there's a little bit of upside that's possible to be coming towards Kelsey's way, but only time is going to be the true teller of that story. So, first one, Anthony Richardson came back down to earth, and it was a hard landing when you go from the high of high to the Sleep Number Award. Not where you want to be, my friend, but bit more. He had a bit more of attempts this week. He had 19 last week, moved up to 34, completed 17 passes, 204 passing yards with 1 tutty and 3 interceptions. Don't know if you got the memo, but that is not what you want to do in the NFL. So get that together and figure out those interceptions. He did have 4 rushes for 37 yards, so that's a little bit of a bright side to it. But really, I'm concerned for him in a whole. All the receivers, I'm not really sure if I'd be comfortable starting any of his receivers with his inconsistent playing. For that reason, he ends up in the slightly tampered bed sheets this week.
Yeah. Next 2 guys in the brown bed are two guys that honestly I'm fine if you rage drop them. I did it mid game. Keon Coleman, get the hell get the hell off my bench. He was in my starting lineup before me and Peepaw's matchup, and something was like, he's gonna be on the the bet award list. I need to put him on my bench. I did that, and then I was like, you know what? Why is he even on there? Let's drop him in the third quarter. And then everything came down to Kyle Stitt coming through, and boy did he come through for Peepaw. And for the other guy I was against, and anyway, but not for me. So, you know what? Like I'm mad at Kyle Pitts for a couple of reasons. Like, yeah, you're not getting the ball. Demand the ball. Like you're supposed to be him. You're not even playing like her. And so like there's that, and then also why haven't you demanded a trade yet? Like just I don't know, help yourself. You're wasting your career. You're going to be an old. I mean, he's only like 22, but he's if he continues this path, he's just going to waste his career. And anyway, I was ready to be hurt again, and I've been hurt. And then just you got Arthur Smith over here to the right, just admiring all these butt cheese boys for shitting the bed.
Oh, he's
And
nothing more than a common butt cheese boy.
that's right. So he's just like, oh, and so we got Arthur Smith on here. He hasn't gone anywhere from last year. Those are my contributions this week. Benny, what about you?
So I am a Michael Pittman owner, and it really sucks that he's on this list, but he needs to be because I think what we've seen out of the Colts is I think that's what we're going to see is there's going to be big Anthony Richardson games that include some just huge shots down the field and then him running the ball. And then we're going to see just absolute shit games. And I don't think either of those formulas work for Michael Pittman moving forward. And so yeah, him and Kyle Schitz can share a part of a last name with that double T that works really well. And so yeah, so Michael Pittman's on my list, and then my other one is Jared. Do you do this when you do Jared Goff? Yeah,
Jared Goff.
Double Jared Goff. So so yeah, I mean, and I was the one who was hyping up his indoor playing schedule over the first 12 games or whatever, and he is not playing well. Detroit's not playing well. Like even when they won, it wasn't a well-rounded win. So maybe there's just some kinks to get worked out. But I think for the most part, unless it's like a super flex league, Jared Goff probably wasn't starting for your team unless you just really, really needed it or you waited till like the 12th round to get a quarterback. So yeah, he's probably not hurting anyone too bad, but he might be in like a super flex league. So I wouldn't be starting him. He's probably on my bench for maybe another week, and then as like more interesting waiver wire ads come about, he's going to get the cut, and he can always come back on or something. Maybe we'll cut him for Malik Willis. He seemed to have a nice game.
That's pretty low, man.
I just want to really insult him. So those are my S the B award winners, and we're going to move on. We're going to feel better. We're going to cleanse ourselves and move on to our last one, the 11th McNugget Award. Who was your pleasant surprise this week?
Several of them actually. Nico Collins, the opposite of what Kyle Schitz is. Him, he is
What's the opposite of shit. Piss?
He is a beast. That dude's awesome. 84% of the snap, 10 targets, 8 receptions, 135 yards, 1 tutty. He got some penalty in the middle of the game, and then all of a sudden, that next play, he got down and had this massive touchdown, and he just threw the defender off of him. Like, get off me, boy, like old school Marshawn Lynch would do. I'm like, this dude is a dude. Love him. So, love seeing that. The offense for the Texans is just unreal, too. So, love everything about that. Brock Bowers. Typically, these rookie tight ends aren't the best of the best, and yet you had it last year. We had Laporta. Brock Bowers is this year. Maybe we had a little bit of a turning point with the tight ends in pros with rookies. Brock Bowers had 9 targets, caught all 9 targets for 98 yards, and he is currently the tight end 2 behind Isaiah Likely, who, you know what, did this last week? Not much of anything. So, Brock Bowers has got a pretty good future. Hopefully, they can keep that together. And when you're looking at Brock Bowers, who's right now a top 5, top 3 tight end. You've also got Devontae Adams, who's I believe, a top 10 wide receiver in the league. So you got a couple key pieces there on the Raiders, and when you got one that can complement the other, good things will happen for you. So those are my 2 nominees this week.
And what do Brock Bowers and his hairline have in common? They just leave everyone behind. So he's got that LeBron James grandmama hairline. And then, so yeah, and Nico Collins, man, what a guy. He must be in Weights for Men because he's been lifting. Shout out to the city of Smyrna. I have a couple of, well, one of them is an entire team, but so one guy that I've just doubted from the beginning, been out on, hated the landing spot. JSN finally came out of the closet over the weekend and just had himself a game. He what was it, 10 for 100? I don't know. But he had a good game. He had probably like 22 fantasy points. So that was awesome seeing him involved. And then the New Orleans Saints as a whole. I mean, a lot of us are hurting at a lot of different positions. If these guys are still on your waiver wire, and we'll discuss waiver wire pickups, but Derek Carr, probably a top 5 QB right now. And the thing was, I think if he is still available, the only thing stopping everyone was that Cowboys matchup, and that's one of the tougher matchups. He made them S the B. So if he can do that, I'd say he'd be just fine against about anybody. So he's a viable ad. You got the terrorist Rashid Shaheed just terrorizing defenses. You got Chris Olave, he's okay. But nothing special there. And then Alvin Kamara. If you lost your matchup and you have Alvin Kamara, the rest of your team sucks. So it's most people who have Alvin Kamara won. So anyway, just really cool to see out of nowhere a team that like we didn't really expect too much fantasy output to come out of. And it's always great whenever you just have those extra options, a little bit of something to add from the waiver wire. So shout out to the New Orleans Saints, just doing a great job.
Doing America a favor.
Doing America a favor. Ba McDonald's.
JSN had 16 targets and 12 receptions for 117 yards.
Wow.
That's the stat line right there.
That's special.
That's like Cooper Cup numbers. That's crazy.
Rest in peace, Cooper Cup.
Yeah. So yeah, I love Nico. I think I have Nico in both of my leagues. I've been a Nico believer for a few years. He's the man. Yeah, the Saints is crazy. I've liked Rashid Shaheed, but I had no idea like we were going to get this kind of offense. Like, and so
I was in on him a year early. And
yeah, but I liked his game, and then I liked the fact that Michael Thomas was just kind of faltering, and I was like, oh, this makes sense. He's still on the team. He's not going anywhere. He's going to be the number 2 guy, and it really he's putting up number 1 numbers right now. So really love that, and I think Brian Thomas in Jacksonville, he's having those kind of games where it's like, what was it, like 2 for 96 this week? I just love like when it's just one shot and your day is made. They can go sit on the bench. You're good for the rest of the afternoon.
He had 2 receptions for 94 yards. That's pretty good average.
Yeah, squad.
And so Rashid Shaheed is that kind of guy. If he's still out there, he's a great waiver pickup for sure. But I'd say people probably snapped him up week 1. My McNug is Calvin Ridley, who I definitely doubted Calvin Ridley just based on the Titans situation, based on like a lot of attention being drawn his way because he's really Hopkins is kind of hobbled, or I don't know what the deal with Hopkins is, but Ridley's really the only option. But the Titans found ways to get him involved. He had the rushing touchdown, he had the passing, the catch in the end zone for the score. So I like what I'm seeing out of Ridley, and I think he has a good connection with Mayo Man. So it looks like Mayo Man is looking for Ridley at any point in the game. So yeah, there you go. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
McDonald.
Oh yeah. What is this? This was from last week, isn't it?
Just happy 100 all year. Happy 180th anniversary to Pabst Blue Ribbon.
This is full of Paps.
Is it the remainder of the year, or is it continuing next year as well?
I don't know the exact. I'm just celebrating all season, or at least till this damn 18 pack is done because it's nasty.
There are still 12 ounces, right?
Still 12 ounces. We want to make sure that we pull that off.
So, oh wait, we're doing waivers. Let's do waivers.
This is a live show, man.
What kind of waivers are we doing? Y'all go.
This ain't scripted. I got a couple for you. Juwan Jennings, potentially take a look at him picking up out of Sam Fran. Debo Samuel went down. I believe it was towards the end of the game. He is going to be out probably a couple weeks, so Juwan Jennings will probably fit in that spot pretty well, and he's looked pretty good this entire season so far. So he's not heavily rostered, but he'll probably fill that void left by Debo, while what's his face is still knocking the dust off from no training camp over the preseason. Braylon Allen looked really good this past week also. Rodgers found him in the end zone. 20% rostered currently. If he's probably more important to the Breece Hall owners out there as backup, and if Breece Hall does go down with injury, he'll be a quick swoop up. So if you got roster space, potentially sit him on your bench and hang out and see what happens the rest of the year. The other guy I'm looking at is Quentin Johnson. I know he's been a frequent member of the S the B award, but it's a new year. We don't knock him for what happened last year. It was his past. He's a grown man now, so he did well this last week. Hoping he might be able to do some more things this in the upcoming games. What do they have? I don't know if they have Carolina upcoming, or I think we might be previewing their game coming up here. But he's a large target for the wide receiver that just managed to find his way open and got a couple touchdowns. So on top of that, we already talked about Derek Carr as potential quarterback, and maybe also a streamer to look at is Geno Smith.
I think a couple good guys to target. Kareem Hunt just went back to KC. I could see them turning back the clock with that, with Pacheco being down. And the thing is, like, Kareem Hunt never looked bad in Cleveland. I don't think he ever slowed down. He played a very limited role. Maybe he has like one more shot to be the man. Carson Steele, if you'd rather go the young man route, he would be the add in KC. He has a pet alligator. He will be a top 5 white running back in the league because there's only a few.
He's a fullback, actually.
Oh, he is? Okay. Well, maybe don't add. I don't know. Yeah, maybe just go with Kareem Hunt.
Also got P Ryan there. So what do you realistically, are either of you looking at anyone in the Kansas City backfield to pick up?
I'm putting a waiver in on all three, and I'm just doing the same ad drop, and I'm just prioritizing. So, like, I'm going like Steele, Hunt, P. Ryan, because Steele's been getting the most work while Pacheco's been in, so it's like, well, this guy's getting the most work. And then Hunt, based on like what Dr. Dry is saying, like I think Hunt's the best fit, maybe long term. And then I think Piron's just going to be that Jarek McKinnon role that we just see like randomly, and you can't predict it. So I'm putting in a waiver on all three. Very Kansas City, just throw a bunch of shit at the wall and maybe someone does good. Like that's pretty much what they've always been.
Yeah. And then also, yeah, I'd probably lean myself. I'd probably lean Kareem Hunt. Just I don't know. I just have a feeling, I guess. And then, in LA, everyone's injured, so someone's got to step up. Matt Stafford, kind of the last man standing there. Demarcus Robinson is kind of the obvious. Like he'll probably be the one just because he's been so involved. But if you want to get a little crazy, Jordan Whittington, 6th-round pick, rookie. They say he plays like Puka Nakua, like he's on an episode of Jackass, not caring about his well-being at all. So if you're into that sort of thing, Jordan Whittington's your man. Good high risk, high reward, right? So, and then I had another one. Oh, I love the Juwan Jennings pickup because he's been heavily involved. And everyone look at Peepaw's Cat's beehole here in a second.
Whoa, that's the first beehole sighting at Peepaw's.
Yeah.
Whoa.
What the? What's your cat's name?
Depends. Is she in trouble or is she just being normal?
Just normal.
Normal is Dory. If she's in trouble, it's Doris.
Nice. All right. Well, shout out to Dory. She's not in any trouble.
Okay. Before we get into our week 3 previews, we have a word from Michael's Pizza. So enjoy.
Hey, folks. It's Michael from Michael's Pizza. I hope you enjoy pizza, because at Michael's, we have it. Come on down and enjoy yourself a slice of hot, tasty pizza at Michael's Pizza. We'll have several specials at Michael's Pizza. On Tuesdays, we have burgers. On Thursdays, we have fries. And on Saturdays, we have ice cream. So come on down to Michael's Pizza. Grab yourself a handful of Chex Mix and sit down for a slice of hot, tasty pizza.
Well,
thanks, Michael.
What I really is, what day are the pizza specials?
That's
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday.
Yeah. He just, I think because he's excited about the other foods, he forgot to mention when they actually serve pizza. So.
Yeah, my family and I, we had Michael's Pizza for dinner. We had spaghetti tonight, so.
Yeah, and it's Tuesday. It's supposed to be hamburger night, and they're just slinging spaghetti.
Could have got a deal.
So, go on down, go see Michael. And, maybe we'll hear more from Michael. We might hear more. We got our people. They do their ads. They pop in from time to time. So there you go.
He's a big-time sponsor.
Thanks for sponsoring the show. We appreciate it.
He's also a big Boots Donnelly for President fan as well, so endorses heavily.
Yeah. So remember, that's who we are throwing our weight behind in this election is Boots Donnelly.
Vote for Boots, vote for Pat.
So we got previews, week 3 previews. We're going over 4 different games. First one is going to be Houston at Minnesota, Texans at Vikings. That's a midday game on Sunday. Both these teams 2-0. One of them surprisingly 2-0. The other not so surprisingly 2-0. I think it's interesting because Sam Darnold has played so well. If you all had to choose between Darnold or Stroud, which would you play this week?
Yes. Play both. The Texans' defense looked really good. Granted, it was against the struggling Bears' offensive line, so it'd be interesting to see how they play against the Vikings. They seem to hold up pretty well up against the 49ers this past week. So, all in all, this probably is going to be one of the better games this week. As a heavily invested JJ owner, I am praying he's not out for any period of time. He's just a fluke what happened this past weekend, and he's back out catching 94-yard bombs. And Darnold, another guy. I mean, he may be out there on waivers in those deeper leagues. Miss talking about him, but that's another guy. He's getting the job done silently, quietly. He's a guy just flying under the radar. So perhaps take a look at him too. All the Texans, though, I think you're still starting your normal guys, your Stroud, your top 3 wide receivers with Nico, Diggs, and Tank Dell. So,
Can I get a Dell, yeah, brother?
And he is going to elevate to the McNuggets next week. Quote that. The Vikings, I think you're just starting your Jefferson, and really, I don't know who else you're going with. Maybe you're taking a flying pick on Jalen Naylor, but other than that, I think it's just Jefferson, and you're rolling with it.
Oh, yeah. You can call Jefferson COVID-18 because everyone's sick of covering him and everyone can't get 6 feet away from him. So make sure, obviously, you're firing up Jefferson. Darnoldo's been balling out. He's like a purple Derek Carr. You just and these are like Pokemon. You got to catch them all. So make sure if you're really in need of a quarterback, pick up Sam Darnold. He's not a bad choice there, but I would definitely go Stroud over Darnold. He's one of those top QBs that you want. You love his weapons. As far as what's going to happen, I haven't looked at any week 3 stuff yet. I still need to put in my waiver claims and all that. So I've been kind of a shitty friend this week, but yeah, I mean, one thing so Joe Mixon, one thing that we kind of need to look at, kind of tweaked himself a little bit. I don't know if I think he's questionable. But I know I don't like his backups at all. Like we had Damian poop his pants, Pierce, and then
Cam Akers.
I don't even. Oh, yes. Cam Akers. Ugh, yeah. Disgusting. So yeah, you hate that. So I mean, if Joe Mixon's down, they're definitely not going to be leaning on the run game. So I think you can just talk another one up for C.J. Stroud. And then where's Aaron Jones been? I don't know. I don't have him anywhere, so I wouldn't be paying attention. But
I saw more of him sitting on the bench than anything else this past weekend.
Hanging out on the bench.
It's currently they got a projected score of Texans 24, Vikings 22, with the over under with the spread of being 2.5 in favor of the Texans. So,
yeah, Aaron Jones has been in double-digit fantasy points. He had 18 and then 10. So not RB1 material, but
healthy.
Yeah. So, but San Francisco, he had 18 against New York, but yeah, Houston's a little tougher than. I feel like Houston's defense falls somewhere between the Giants and San Francisco. So let's chalk them up for like 14 fantasy points this week. So not bad, not a bad play. It's just interesting to me that Darnold is doing well. I think San Francisco liked Darnold because they thought he could play well in a good system, and I think Minnesota's created a good system. We saw that with the Packers this week. They put a good system in place for Malik Willis, and Malik Willis wins a football game. Like, anyone can play well if you just put them in a good situation, and so it's cool seeing Darnold's career get revived. He's going to get paid next year for sure, which is nice. We want people to make money, except Jamar Chase. He can make no money. He just has to be angry on the field. Also, it was funny. I was listening to the Fantasy Sports on Sunday, the live broadcast, and they were like, Jalen Naylor, I hardly know her. I was like, that's awesome. And you can tell they got in trouble for saying it or something because like he never like mentioned it or how funny it was. But I was like, that's hilarious. I love that. I was like, that's
They
an
they have
FTF.
they have some good little one-liners on that show. One of my favorite ones was years ago when Nile Davis was a Kansas City running back, and they go, "If peeing your pants is cool, consider me Nile Davis for the touchdown."
I love it. They have so much fun on that show. I highly recommend the Sirius XM fantasy football show live during the games on Sunday. It's like Red Zone, but audio only, and it's so much fun. Absolutely love it. So, highly recommend. Game number 2, Eagles at Nolans. I like the flair you put on there, Pete. I appreciate that.
Oh, I can't take credit for that. It was
The doc put the
That
flair
was
on
my
there.
one contribution today.
Nice, sexy.
Yeah, I got that from Applebee's, the Nolan skillet. That's how they spell it.
Oh
Yeah,
man, I haven't even.
specific.
When was the last time you went into an Applebee's? Recently?
Yeah, I mean it's Wadsworth, so like that's the only place to go. And but yeah, they have the Nolan skillet. I believe it's I don't know, I think it's $9.99, maybe $12.99,
Wow, it took a
depending
page
on
out of
what
the
you
Tim
get.
Kilkerson playbook there for
Yeah,
$9.99.
yeah,
I just
yeah.
think of Dan Campbell with the commercial. That's a good commercial. I like it.
Yeah.
They did a good job with that one. Like, and I don't like all commercials, so I like that one. Philly and Nolans, 2 fun offenses. We've seen both offenses be very productive. I'm thinking that New Orleans is for real. As long as Derek Carr is healthy, what we got is what we're going to have. And, like, let's just milk that for all it's worth. Just get it out. And then Philly.
Family show.
Yeah, big family show. And then Philly with no AJ Brown, Devonta Smith did well last night without AJ Brown. I don't know how long that can go because I think AJ Brown is crucial to the overall success of the offense. So, what do y'all think about this matchup?
The Eagles' defense is going to get absolutely obliterated. They can't stop a single thing. I just think, seeing as what they did to the Cowboys this past week, I just don't think the Eagles stand a chance. You're going to get a couple deep passes again. Derek Carr's, he's the dude. Why he's not anyone's, he's still out on waivers, I think, because of the scare of what Dallas could do to him. But he's a dude you want on your fantasy team. He's going to air it out, guaranteed. He's got guys downfield. I just think it's going to be a big game for this offense, for sure. I think this. I don't know about a blowout, but I think it's going to be a big game for New Orleans offense.
That's right. Oh, I was messing around. Hang on. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think New Orleans is for real. I don't think Alvin Kamara scores your 44 points, but he'll probably like tone it down and score you 25 or something. They're rolling. Derek Carr is such an awesome quarterback. We didn't see that coming 2 weeks ago. But I mean, he did that to Dallas, and that's one of the better defenses in the league. So, go get you some Derek Carr. Yeah, Eagles are going to get burnt by the top receiver, Rashid Shaheed, and Chris Olave is going to get his 70 yards and a soft 70. And anyway, yeah, just they got it rolling. It feels weird to say, but because like if you were to talk to us 2 weeks ago, we would have probably said Eagles are going to win by 30, and now it's looking very much the other way. That yeah, New Orleans just they're like the Tennessee Vols. They just can't be stopped on offense right now. So
The Eagles look like they picked up from where they ended last season.
oh, and that was such a disappointment too, because they just kind of petered out there toward the end, and just like I don't. It's like they didn't want to play anymore, and which was weird because they were in like a driver's seat for everything. and they just didn't want it anymore. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. So Saquon's providing that energy, but he can't do it all, and they gotta bring it. So matchup number 3, we have Chargers at Pittsburgh Butt Plumbers. Yeah.
Shout out to last year Vinny's team.
Oh, that's a championship team right there.
Oh yeah, you got a ring from that. You got that obnoxious big ring.
It's on display at work on the cabinet. So, and so so I feel like this one's funny to me because these are both 2-0 teams that are they're like the same team. Like one has a better quarterback, but they don't use him as a quarterback as well. Like the Chargers, Harbaugh's like, throw it 12 times, it's fine. And so yeah, these are like the same teams. They both want to run the ball. They both want to control the clock and all that kind of stuff. What do y'all think about like fantasy, like Quentin Johnson this week? Would you want to mess around with that? Looks like Justin Fields is going to get his 3rd start. He could become like the starter, I guess. Why would you take him out if he's still winning? Yeah, what do y'all think?
I don't know how Pittsburgh manages to, like, pregame for them must be like, all right, guys, how can we manage to play as awfully as we can and still win this game? You hear me? We're going to, like, keep it close, keep it interesting, make the bettors sweat a little bit, and then be like, gotcha, and then come out and win. You can't keep it up all season, and they had some pretty easier matchups to start this season. I think this is where the Chargers come 3-0 and Pittsburgh is 2-1. Of the teams that are 2-0 this year, I think Pittsburgh is probably the most surprising on it. Definitely the Chargers as well, seeing as they didn't end last season too hot, but they did revamp quite a bit. And as you said, Coach, both teams run heavy. I don't know if I trust anyone on the wide receiver core for either of these teams except for Pickens, and I think that's about it. If you don't have one of the running backs,
I'm gonna go contrarian. I think that the Steelers, they're in that pregame huddle, and they're talking about how bad they're gonna do, but they're also gonna talk about, hey, let's get Chris Boswell involved as much as we can. And so they're gonna, kick 12 field goals and win the game that way. But no, I see. So I don't know, that Steelers defense. Like, I feel like as good as they are, I feel like we forget about them week in, week out, and I think that they can just shut down that Chargers offense. Because I don't believe in Quentin Johnston. I was hoping Josh Palmer would be more of a thing. He hasn't, but they throw the ball 10 times a game. J.K. Dobbins, he's called Just Kidding Dobbins for a reason. He showed us 2 good weeks. You really think he can do 3? I mean, lots of things to. I mean, I hate what the Chargers have done in the off season. I just don't believe in them. So that this might just be like that. Hate what the Chargers have done bias, but and Pittsburgh's not great at all. I think it's going to be a field goal festival. But the Pittsburgh Butt Plumbers, I can see them coming through here. I don't even know if I trust George Pickens. All I trust is Chris Boswell. That's not good. So I think he's going to be the leading fantasy scorer in this game. We've already seen it out of him one time. And the way that they get the ball down the field, but not all the way down the field, just really serves up a big Boswell game. And that's doctor's order.
It seems like Boswell's like in line to get his contract, and he's like, "Yo, boys, help me out." And he's like, "I'm gonna kick these 60-yarders. Just help me out here."
Yeah.
It'd be a bad. This is a game where you want to have kickers and defense in your league. Not that I'm speaking from experience, but I'm just talking to someone else.
Yeah, I'm really watching like the Steelers backfield. Like, I'm really wanting more Jalen Warren and less Najee, but we're still getting like a 2-to-1 or like a 1-to-3 ratio. I would like some more Jalen Warren. He's like the more exciting player. They gave him like nothing week 1 because he was coming off the injury. And then week 2, he got a little bit more. So I'm hoping like he starts. If we could get like the 50-50, I'd be happy with them too. Because of all the players, I feel like he's the one I'm like most excited about because he has future potential and he's also good now. He just needs more like opportunity. But it's weird, like even Justin Fields, who used to be like a dynamic player 2 years ago, Steelers have said, no, you're just going to be in this little box and just score like 9 fantasy points. So
they've also
I mean,
got Cordell Patterson, who still being used. I think I do like
that man right there.
That's the culprit.
I do like Jalen Warren best. He's coming off that I don't know if I think it was a hamstring injury. I still like him best out of the backfield. I think as these weeks go on, he recovers from that. I tend to agree with you on that, and hoping that he becomes the most productive back in this backfield.
Yeah, this seems to be a common theme with me, like personally this year. Like a lot of guys I loved last year, and I was like, oh yeah, Jalen Warren season, Tyjae Spears season, just being on the wrong side, and like I feel like it probably is going to happen this year, but this year I'm out, and so it's just being on the opposite end. But I don't know, Jalen Warren is the better player. Najee was a horrible God Squad choice. I'm noticing like a lot of my God Squad's been on the Sleep Number Award list. So, with our boy
It's a long season.
Arthur Smith.
So our last game is KC at Atlanta. So the Swifties versus ATL. That's your Sunday night matchup. And so, did you do this one, or did you just do that one?
Yeah, I think I made it a boy. I don't know.
And so we got no Pacheco for a good 6 to 8 weeks. So there's that, and what does that change for the Kansas City offense? And then ATL looks like maybe a slow build. Kirko Chains was looking a little bit better last night. So maybe he's getting more comfortable. Bijan's getting his. London got his. Carl Pitts gets none. So what are you doing with the Kansas City receiving core? And then, are you ready to fully unleash Drake London, Bijan? I guess we're getting rid of Kyle Pitts completely. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you don't get rid of him completely. You rage drop him.
Rage.
Yeah.
There's no just dropping it. It's got to be a gradual rage. So, I think without the Pacheco, aside from the fact of my fantasy leagues plummeting, I think they're going to become more of a pass offense. Mahomes has been struggling over the past year and change, getting what people are accustomed to with his top finishes. So, I think this really ups the wide receivers' abilities for getting points. So, Rashee Rice, obviously, and it's not Adonai Mitchell. Who they got?
Xavier Worthy.
Xavier Worthy, yes. You got him as well. I think he's going to get more targets as a result of this as well. So, I don't know if I'm starting Worthy. For sure, Rice and Mahomes. Backfield, I'm not going to be touching. And as far as Atlanta's concerned, Kirk looked like he was more at home this past week, and it looked like the Achilles was returning back to health. So, like to see that, and feed Drake London that ball. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, don't even bother feeding it to Kyle Pitts because he's not going to be on anyone's team after we all rage drop him. And, I took a gamble on him, and I bet all my money on him, put all my chips in. And if you'd also like to bet all your money on something, why don't you go on down to Underdog Fantasy, use code FifthQuarterFantasy, and Underdog will match your deposit up to $100. Probably a different special now. It's been a year. But make sure that you gamble away your life savings, gamble away your mortgage. This is not betting advice. All right, but yeah, I mean, I think Yeah, Kirko Chains looked a lot more at home. He's going to be in his element, in the A, repping his set. I could see him going off here. Casey's not at home. It's I think they do feed everyone except for Kyle Fitz and move forward that way. And I think that they get the upset against Casey. So I'm gonna be bold there. Casey's gonna have a different running back this weekend. I do think Rasheed Rice continues to just eat. Go ahead and cook that rice, get some chicken on it, have yourself a nice handful of Tex Mix, get yourself a nice dinner over at Mackle. And yeah, so I mean Rice, he's gonna have all the fixings. But other than that, I mean they might drum up a play or two for if he's worthy. Xavier will get a play or two. But other than that, I mean Travis Kelce, who knows, maybe he flashes back, exposes himself to everyone, but I don't know if we can depend on it. So I mean, yeah, I'm rolling with Kirko Chains and the boys. Except minus Kyle Fitz, everyone else is going to eat.
Yeah, I saw a thing today where it said that they said it looks like Travis Kelce is ready for the internet personality part of his career. Like he's just kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of over this part. I mean, he's going to be bigger than football, especially if him and Swift stay together, and him and his famous brother can do anything together, and people are going to want to take it in. So, I don't blame him for being over just getting pounded by dudes on every Sunday. More than not get pounded by dudes every Sunday, So
family show. But yeah, I mean, no, I don't know. I think he's more relatable on like his podcast and stuff. But whenever he gets like a microphone in front of him and he's just, I don't know, in front of a big group of people, he just acts like a jackass. Like he's so annoying. Like I don't know. I couldn't do it. I'd be like, dude, you gotta stop. Like rein it in a little bit. I remember my first beer.
All right, one butthole. Okay.
We do have. This is the return of, if anyone's wondering, the double Monday night header, 30 minutes apart from each other. That returns again this year. Everyone's favorite. So be sure to pick whichever game you want. Obviously, we can't have our cake and eat it too. Unfortunately, we got to continue with this madness again for whatever reason. So be on the lookout for one of those two games.
I really hope that was gone for good.
Yeah, whichever one tickles your fancy better.
Damn. Okay. Well, look out for that. Good luck to everyone in your Week 3 matchups. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment and tell your friends about us. And maybe, just send us some money so we can keep doing this for money. So
we get paid a lot to do this show.
If you see us on the street, just hand us a $5. If you want to just like Venmo us $12, we'll take that. It's fine. So
we took Mackle for free. So if that's saying anything,
yeah, Mackle.
Keeping the lights on.
Okay, so Peepaw, why don't you lead us in our 5 things this week?
We got live, laugh, love, like, and subscribe to the 5th Full Family.
Oh, goodness.
Sponsored by Mac.